Hold your ground, men. I'll teach you to respect me. Your gold belongs to me.
dad? No way, I can't tell you my name. My dad says never to tell strangers, even if they seem nice. He told me there are creatures that can steal your name, and then you can't ever go home again. I'm not by myself. My friends are close by, and my dad will be here any second. And you? Why are you here all alone? That's sad. You should find some friends. Then you won't be alone. But I'm waiting for my dad. He promised he would go fishing with me. Dad is just Dad. He's tall, strong, and has a big beard, though he said he'd have to shave it off for the army. He said it's to keep lice away. It sounded so gross. I hope I never have to join the army. Not long, I think. I try not to take my eyes off the water, but I always see the same stars in the reflection. He should be here any minute now. Dad told me to wait right here, so I'm waiting. If he said we can fish here, he must be right. My dad is great at fishing. He once caught a fish as big as his arm, and he made this rod just for me. I know, it's very special. Do you want to try fishing with me until my dad gets here? Great! Dad taught me to angle the rod to the side and then swing it back before casting. I'm sure you'll catch something. Grab your rod! The fish won't catch themselves, you know. What are you waiting for?
Check it out. They did it. Somebody did it.
Impossible.
See, someone's here.
Damned morons.
Nobody could be stupid enough to actually fall for this.
And yet...
Hey, you there. We can't exactly see you because, you know, we're dead. But we can sense that you're here, so...
Congratulations! You've made it to the sacred site of knowledge!
Is that what we call it? I can't believe this shit. But they actually fell for it. I can't believe it.
I know, right? Traveler, the knowledge you seek, the knowledge we druids decided to share with you is that... you can kiss our dead magical asses and get the hell back to wherever you came from. Now scram! Oh yeah, I forgot. They always need answers, don't they?
Right.
What did you expect? A monster fight? Some grand artifact to carry you back home?
Yeah, you people, you treasures.
You remembered to take something with you?
Not really.
Here. Here's your artifact.
You must carry it with you at all times or else. I can't. I just can't. Yeah. Now scram.
who had until now. You look as if you've had you look just say I'm more.
A curse. Fascinating. Let me think. Wait, no, I don't need to think. My useless Camelot education only taught me what could be proven. So, we never covered the existence of curses in class. Let me think. Among people of science, there is an opinion that the mind can get sick, just like the lungs or the heart. I fully agree. If a person believes there's a curse, it will come true, whether real or not. Sometimes the right mixture of herbs, certain habits, and some carefully chosen words can save a person, even when they're deep in the throes of despair or madness. This is a field more suited for druidic magic, however, since Camelot is stuck on the theory and doesn't seem to make any progress with the practice. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a tangible solution, but I hope I've pointed you in the right direction. Yes? How did it go? Bastards. If this is how they behaved when they were all still alive, it makes more and more sense that people got fed up with them. But I don't get it, you know? Think about it. You have all this knowledge. You're practically a god among men, and yet you treat them like this. Why wouldn't you let the chosen few in on the secret? Why wouldn't you share the mystical arts? Or even just let them observe? How are we supposed to figure these things out for ourselves? It would have been beneficial for all of us if their writings, their rituals, and their deeds weren't written in code. If they were easier to understand. Mistletoe? Really? They gave you mistletoe? Useless junk, and a parasite to boot. Really nice way of proving their point that we're unworthy of their knowledge. What? Changed? Changed how? Is it bad? Oh no. No. This is not good. Shit. We already have the undead, the weirdness, and the Del Rita to worry about. We don't need yet another problem on our hands. Besides, it's a known druidic site. What if news of something happening there reaches the Red Priests? They are ruthless in pursuing any remaining druids. If they find out about my interests, I'll be done for. Look, it's a small keep. People here know everything about each other, and I tend to babble when I'm drunk. I don't even know. Maybe I told somebody about my peculiar interests. Maybe not. But even one person knowing this about me would be one person too many. We don't do anything because I still can't leave the keep. You need to find a druid and make him reverse this somehow. Two, actually, but they're nothing more than that. Ideas. Maybe the other keepers have seen something. Dan's been patrolling the walls lately, and he's got sharp eyes. Though I doubt any druid would be foolish enough to hide this close to Camelot's biggest foothold in the south. Whatever you decide, good luck. Please let me know when it's done. Otherwise, I won't be able to focus. I just hope nobody gets seriously ill right now. I figured it out! The mistletoe! Oh, how could I have been so blind this whole time? It's obvious, don't you see? They weren't laughing at me, do you see? They were telling me to embrace the part that I play in the world. The part that we all play in the world. Listen, mistletoe was their sacred plant, right? We know it's a parasite, and in extreme situations, can even kill the tree on which it grows. Why would you worship a parasite? I finally got it. They realize that if everything goes well, it has minimal effect on the tree. Sometimes it's even able to give something back. Even better, it's evergreen, so birds can feed off it in winter. And even though it's poisonous to humans, druids were able to make medicine out of its fruits. Do you see? It's so obvious that it's no wonder the answer eluded us all. It's not about the mystical arts, the scrolls, or the rituals. That's all smoke and mirrors. It's about observing nature and drawing the right conclusions. Mistletoe feeds off the tree, but it doesn't just take. It gives back, just like we all do. We always take from something. The trick is to give back more than we take. That's meant to be our role in the world. Yes, it's about understanding our place in the world as parasites, but useful ones. There's no more knowledge to gain besides what's already here. The trick is, we need to learn to see it. Ah, this is my new quest. Thank you for initiating this discovery.
Oh, Mother have mercy. Not another one. If I let you pass, will you promise not to make any trouble? That's just my luck. Take the post, Tiernan, they told me. You'll be looking after a village full of old farts. That's practically early retirement, they said. What a load of crap. There's always something. If it's not the deck falling apart, it's a refugee running around biting people. Well, to be fair, he only bit one person. But it was a keeper. I know Mahone can be a piece of shit sometimes, but gods. Now both of them are sick. And Heber's got no clue what's wrong. Which is the only reason that refugee isn't dead. Yet. So, he's sitting in a cage. His wife's crying all day, and everyone's pissed. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in the middle of it all. No need to tell me that. But I can't just go back to patrolling the walls. I'd be a laughingstock. I'd rather sit here and hope everything works itself out. I mean, everyone's gotta die someday, right? So whether it's me or them, at least my problems will be over. No, not really. Fortunately. The deck? Nah, just old wood. Honestly, it's the least of my problems. But I've got no way to fix it. Dara's always busy with his lighthouse, and every time I try to do it myself, someone else needs me for something. I can't even sneak out to the tavern because last time some rich bint started complaining that everything here smells of fish. That's a seaside village. What else would it smell of? You do that? That would be a huge relief. Well, maybe not huge. There are bigger problems, but it'd be a start. Truth be told, I don't know why they want it so badly. It's for boats. No one here even uses boats. But, well, you know how it is with old folks. Once they get fixated on something, there's no point in arguing. I'd pay if I could, but this was supposed to be my job. The budget's long gone. But if you're interested, I could teach you a thing or two about home decor. Not exactly standard keeper knowledge, but, well, we all have our secrets. Oh, she's a real piece of work, that one. Her name's Lady Elisa. Something. I don't remember. She came here with her husband. Poor man. I never heard him get a word in. You know, sometimes I regret not getting married. But if I had a wife like her, I'd just end up being a keeper all over again. Surprised? Can't blame you. This might sound odd coming from someone stationed in a glorified fish bucket, but I've got a thing for furniture. The only thing more mismatched than the barracks around here is my career choice. But, yeah, I like imagining places where things fit. Where chairs don't wobble, tables don't look like someone hacked them together with a dull axe, and beds... well, beds don't feel like they're plotting your murder while you sleep. Not exactly a secret I broadcast. Most folks see me as Tiernan the Grumbler. But, hey, we've all got something that keeps us sane, right? Mine just happens to be daydreaming about nicer chairs.
That's a question better suited for Merlin if he was still around. I always thought it was where his druids got drunk and danced naked in the moonlight. He was terribly offended when I said that. Gave me an entire lecture about the delicate balance of life and death, how they are intertwined within nature. That, he claimed, was what the Cromlechs were meant to be. The heart of their power. A place where it could be harnessed and cultivated. Still, he never invited me to any of their celebrations. He always did hate when I was right.
Ah, that's you. No, please.
I hope Kate isn't making Morris do anything horrible. Do you need help settling in, dear? This isn't the best day to start a new life in this place, but we don't always get to choose, do we? What a nasty business with that boy. I'm almost glad my Morris isn't here for this. He's such a bleeding heart. Oh, I'm not sure, love. I don't move around too much. I just heard about that fight with the road keeper, and now poor Cole's locked up in a cage. Him and Patrice make such a lovely young couple. They remind me of Morris and me when we were their age. I'm sorry, dear. I hope I didn't offend you. I'm still not used to all this. You see, I was born in Little Grove and thought I would live out the rest of my life there, working in the orchards in the mornings and drinking warm cider with my beloved in the evenings. We never wanted to see the world. I guess sometimes the world doesn't give us a choice, does it? That's what people say, but I never agreed. I weathered many storms with my Morris, coming out stronger each time. Avalon taught us to cherish the little joys of our everyday life. Without those lessons, we wouldn't have survived what happened to our village. Little Grove was raided by bandits, a local gang that had been terrorizing the area for months, growing in numbers with each raid. Their leader, Bald Kate they called her, somehow got hold of a branding iron used to mark outlaws. After pillaging a village, she'd brand some men and women of her choosing. That way, Kate made sure nobody would ever help them, and that they'd have no choice but to turn to her if they wanted to survive. My Morris used to be a skilled tanner. I guess that's why she picked him. Yes, I asked him to. He wanted to run with me, but he was still feverish after the branding. I was worried he'd die on the road. Now, I don't have many kind words for Kate, but she doesn't like her efforts to go to waste. As long as he stayed, she'd make sure he was healed. I hated leaving him there, and I hate to think of what she's making him do, but I hope he's at least still alive. Of course I did, right after I got here. The only answer I got was that they're aware of the bandit problem and are dealing with it. But I've heard rumours that the gate is always shut and the keepers are forbidden to leave. So, I've got no hope there. Look at me, love. I'm just an old woman. I've lived a quiet life, never learned any skills Kate would find useful. She has no need for useless mouths to feed, and Morris, well, he didn't want me to stay anyway. He said we'd find our way back to each other, but I'm starting to fear we'll have to wait for another life. From what I've heard, they decided to stay in Little Grove for a while, drinking my cider to the last drop, no doubt. Not like they have to worry about the authorities. The only ones we saw were the Camelot tax collectors that came by once a year. Other than that, not a uniform in sight since I was a little girl. Oh, Mother bless you, my dear. That's all I could ask for. Please, let me know as soon as you learn anything. At first, it wasn't so bad. But now it gets worse every day. We just sit around here, doing nothing. Don't get me wrong, we have food, we have a roof over our heads, and we're grateful for that. But no one trusts us enough to let us do any work. None of us wants to be a freeloader, as they call us. I wouldn't mind a task or two to earn my keep and to take my mind off my troubles. I might not be all hale and hearty, but I've still got two good hands, which is more than you can say about some of the codgers living here. Stay safe, dear.
Sun doesn't rise the same anymore.
I've already told you I'm not going anywhere. If you want something from me, then... Oh. I don't know you. I'm Dugald. You're not one of us. And you're not a local either.
You could have chosen a better time to come here. Kind of poor ambience, if you know what I mean.
Well, at least we have a roof over our heads. My boy Frank and I came here with the others. We left our village because... we had to. Well, I had to. But Frank is a good lad, so he came with me. I took him in, you know.
Found the poor sod at the mill, sleeping in the hay. He was chilled to the bone back then, but I could tell he'd be a strong lad once he thawed out. He used to help out on the farm.
He's young, but he already has a couple of tattoos. Tribal ones. Means he must have been cast out of the Del Rita.
At first, the people in our village gave him dirty looks.
He was a good, hard-working kid. Frank is a quiet boy, and he doesn't talk much about himself. I feel like though... Roscree. My daughter married a good, hard...
Still helped around.
Of course, something happened. Life here can't just be bearable. Oh no, my dear Trina, and I...
Something happened. Frank listens. I'm not from anywhere. Frank is attached to nowhere. I found a home with Dugald. I owe him a life debt.
Frank was never a dull reader.
not without a name. Without a name, you are nobody in the tribe, like me. And if that lasts too long, you must leave. I left and became Frang. Frang. A name, and not a name. Nothing happened to Frang. A stray, taken in by a miller. That's all. Frang cannot be a Dalriada. His mother was. But the tribe decided that he was not worthy of a name. That is why he's not of the tribes. Conquer. Wolf. Strong. Important name. Not seen in the south for a long time. Must be dead. A place without a leader. As I see it, I will finally fall apart. One way or another. There are no tales about a place that survived without a strong leadership. And it's not about kings, nobleshites, or chieftains. Titles are just words that pull the wool over a man's eyes. What's needed is a strong soul with a strong name. And their names mean as much as Frang's, which is to say, nothing. Now they're a bit like Frang. Strays with no home. But Reese is strong, despite what happened with Cole. Ellis. He's funny. I like him. Rawson. I know nothing about her. And Dugald. A man who became Frank's father. He has my gratitude. Don't bother. Frank never met the Keepers, but the unnamed boy did. Once, a few of them, many years ago, we fought. The unnamed boy survived even though he showed fear. Shouldn't do that. The Keepers approached the camp of the boy's people, but that past does not belong to Frang. I'm Frang.
Still here, still breathing.
You've come to put me in the cage.
What? You had me there. I like you already. Such a mess, isn't it? Cola's all right, and Beatrice, what a shame. Such a fine girl. Anyway, I'm Ellis. Nice to meet you. What do you need? Frank? That boy is golden, I'm telling you. Smart, nice, quiet though. He keeps his head down. Only once did I see him angry, and whoa, that was something. I thought he was going to kill me on the spot. That was back on the road, right after we met. We came here later. He sure did. I nicked Dugald's roast squirrel. It was the last one. Supposed to be his. But I forgot. I felt really bad about it. Normally, Dugald would tear me a new one. You know how it is. Miller's blood runs hot. But when Frank lunged at me, Dugald was speechless, completely shocked. Cole had to calm Frank down. Cole was a great guy. Frank, a thief? Nah, not a chance. He's got principles. Frank's not just your regular Avalonian kid. He acts differently, like he's not from here. If they were to hang him, I'd take his place. Well, no, I wouldn't. But you know what I mean. Frank's a good one. Truly. Well, I'm Ellis. Goldsmithing is my life and passion. And between you and me, I feel like I'm losing my mind without it. When I hold tools and make beautiful things, it feels like I can bring some light into this wretched world. I wish I was somewhere where I could just do some goldsmithing, but I'm a bit scared. So, here I am, sitting on my ass in some village listening to waves and the screams of seagulls and old men. Nothing to write home about, even if I still had one. I was working as a goldsmith in a group of, let's call them business people. I was once traveling with a caravan that got attacked by him. Their chief was a smart guy. The moment he heard I was a goldsmith, he knew what to do with me. He got me converting all the jewelry they stole into new pieces. Do you want to hear what I did once? We went to Timberwall. The gang wanted to rob some merchant's house. We holed up in a seedy tavern and waited for the right moment. Then, one night they broke in. Came back with a whole load of trinkets. Beautiful stuff. The moment I saw it all, I instantly knew what I wanted to craft. They gave me a couple of days. Tinkered for a bit, and then, ta-da! Brand new merchandise. After I was finished, I dressed myself all nice, went to that merchant's house and went, "Good morning, kind sir. I'm a goldsmith. My work is renowned in all of Camelot. Would you be interested in what I have to offer?" You know what he said? Of course I would. That nonce bought the entire lot, even though I inflated the prices like a street peddler. And when I came back, the others couldn't believe their eyes. I thought I was gonna keel over. I miss that.
Still here, still breathing. Didn't think anyone would stop by.
Bloody hell, look at this! The old place is in a shambles. Bunch of decrepit old coots. They do nothing but shuffle around, stare at walls, and sleep under leaking roofs. Can't even hammer a nail properly. I'm telling you, if I was still working here, this place wouldn't be falling apart. Ah, but I'm not. Oh, shite. I can't even stand to look at it, let alone live here. And who are you? What you want? You another one of Duras' freeloaders? What do you take me for? A senile old idiot? I know that my boy keeps sending all of you little pissants to snoop around his old man. Oh, how worried he must be. Ho ho. How did you all get it into your stupid heads that I am ill, huh? That's bullshit. Everyone's going on about how old Gabon's gonna keel over anytime soon. And me? Still here, ain't I? Arseholes. I'm old enough to know what I'm talking about. I served my time. I've lived my life. And now you can all kiss my arse. So there. Oh, I swear, each one's dumber than the last. Listen, they wanted Heber, that healer from the keep, to come here. He did. They wanted him to look me over. He did. Then he just threw up his hands, mumbled something to himself, and that was it. Hell, I should have been an healer. Wouldn't mind going around being a pain in everyone's arse for a living. These herbs. No idea what they're for. Heber said he doesn't know what's wrong with me, so there's no illness. I'm fit as a fiddle. Ah, good thing that at least the one guy who hangs around, Finley's the name. Doesn't nag me all the time. Why the sudden interest? Maybe if you bring me a drink, I'll humor you. Then you can kiss my arse. I ain't spilling my guts to strangers. Drinking buddies, though. If there's something you want to know, you'll need to treat me first.
Beer from Kunacht, wine from Farshire, moonshine, only local, the best there is. And fish, lots and lots of fish. What's your poison?
Oh, so many questions. How about a drink first, and then we'll talk? Ah. So, what was your question? Hold on. Finley is not my caregiver. He's my helper at most. Hey, first of all, I'm not a cripple who needs a decrepit dimwit running round after me. Secondly, do you know the problem with having a helper who's mute? He doesn't bloody talk. I mean, it's not all bad. At least I don't have to listen to even more bullshit. He puffs up like a marshmallow every time he tries to say something. But I don't understand shit. Curious, aren't you? Fetch me a drink and we'll see about the chat. Curious, aren't you? Fetch me a drink and we'll see about the chat. Ah. So, what was your question? That's what he says anyway. But yeah, he's my blood. Eager like me, and look at that bulbous nose. Won't disown what's clearly mine. But I ain't gonna talk with a stranger. It's like half the blighters here don't have working peckers, or they've never even touched a woman. You sure have a lot of questions. Grab me a drink first, then we'll see. Ah. So, what was your question? You see, back in the day, being a keeper was a serious business. Now, don't even get me started. You used to come here with a mission, not to run away from your bloody mother. Nowadays, lads get brought here by their own kin when they've had enough of them, or they think the Orns can hide them from the law. No, back in my day there was none of this scum. I came here to serve. My girl cried when I left her, but I've always known this is where I wanted to be. How was I supposed to know she had a bloody bun in the oven? By the time the wean was born, I was already planning the lighthouse's construction. Heck knows what he came here for. That's not my problem anymore, and I don't stick my nose in anyone else's business. Why all the poking around? Get me something to drink, and we'll talk. Ah. So, what was your question? I'm starting to like you, stranger. And trust me, it's been a long time since I liked, well, anybody. I liked me brothers in arms back in my glory days. Good lads, every damn one of them. Tough as nails, loyal to a fault. A kind of men you'd want beside you in the darkest holes of Avalon. But they're gone now, all of them. The old captain got it in his head to send us down to rediscover some mouldy tunnels under the keep. Damn fool mission that was. We went in together, but I was the only one to come back out. I can still see all their faces when I close my eyes. A hard loss it was, but I'm still here. Oh, some days I wonder why. You're digging a little deep, aren't you? Bring me a drink, and I'll consider talking. Ah. So, what was your question? Those tunnels, right. Well, me and the lads went down there to check if we could repurpose them under the horns. Damn fool mission that was. But here wasn't just some empty caves. There were monsters, straight out of Age of Legends. Sick stuff. Stuff to get under your skin. Looked like... hell, memory's all twisted up now. Like a bloody nightmare mixed with shadows that don't belong. Want to know more? Speak with Fergus. He's in charge of this shit show now. Now, I propose a toast to those lost souls. This one's on me. Feast, you say? Problem is, sometimes I think they never died. They haunt me in my dreams, you know? Bloody bastards. I swear I wanted to go back and retrieve their bodies. But our late captain, like Grindelows piss on his grave, forbade me from going back. But when I drink, I usually pass out, and then I don't remember my dreams. So, I drink. My brothers deserved better.
You mean the old pier? Well, first of all, it's not that old. Brennan was already the captain when it was built. Why is it called that? Don't know. Probably because of all those old folks around. A lot has been happening here lately. Plenty of new faces. I definitely can't complain. I'm finally running a proper tavern. People come and go and the regulars drink as usual, as it should be. Daddy will be proud. Hey, not here, obviously. You won't see your old man here unless your name's Dara. Mine sent me here because he hoped I'd make something out of my life. He never wanted me to pour a beer and look at the same tired mugs day in, day out, but as it turns out, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I got mauled by a werebeast during a hunt, and after that, the captain decided I wasn't any good for active service, so he sent me here. I was bored out of my mind, and since there wasn't one here, I decided to start a tavern. At least I'm not as bored anymore. No, I don't recall anything like that. But that means... No. Impossible. What if... Holy moonshine. I remember. Sigibald. It was Sigibald who left those documents behind. I've no idea how you found out about it. Sigi. He's dead. Taken by a fever. Aye, of course I have. I didn't just throw them in some cabinet. I was afraid they'd fall into the wrong hands. He was a good man. I wouldn't get rid of my only memento of him. Here, after what you said, I assume you'll make good use of them. Even though I'm still not sure what to think about it. Things are getting weirder and weirder in our beloved Avalon. Well, he died like he lived, with a tankard in his hand. The boys always said Sigi was a friend worth 5 others. And he was. He was a prankster like no other. Once, he slipped a rotten egg into the quartermaster's dinner. Never a dull moment with him, that's for sure. No problem. Listen, if by some miracle you really talked with Sigibald, please, give him my warm regards. I don't understand anything anymore.
Who are you? Another refugee? This place is already crawling with your lot. It's like a Camelosian privy after a feast. In my day, you only saw old familiar faces round here. And maybe we didn't all love each other, but a local is a local. It was easier to share with others, even when you didn't have much. A problem? No. No problem, just rambling to myself. But now that I look at you, sure enough, you don't look like one of them. You asking me? They came here and made themselves at home. I ain't talking to any of them. Orderly. No damn rabble begging at the gates and eating us at a house and home. Back then, sure, civilians came and went. But housing them, feeding them? We had a rule. No freeloading. But I guess that went out the window, along with our pride. It used to mean something to be a keeper. You could come in off the streets and keepers would make a man out of you. Now, bunch of spoiled lordlings sold off to Brandon by their daddies for a bag of gold. Treated like they're made of glass. Soft, weak, the lot of them. What's there to be proud of? You watch your damn mouth. We did everything we could. I've said it before. We need a whole damn army to keep this region in check. And besides, how do you know these leeches are even telling the truth? Every village wiped out. Just like that? Give me a break. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You see anything interesting around here? There's this tavern, and plenty of fish in the sea. Decent place to retire, but not much else. Well, if you're looking to sightsee, try the sunken village. Just don't let the locals tear you to shreds. I don't know, but you could put something on the table. And then maybe we can talk. Thank you.
That's better. We used to come here, the three of us. Me, Berg, and Fedley. But lately, something's gotten into Berg, and it all kinda fell apart. Hell knows what happened. One day he just stopped talking to us. We went to his house to get him, but he only cursed a blue streak at us. Say, mate, do you feel like talking to an old obla? I feel bad for him, but I've got no more patience. And Finley? Let's just say Finley's no good at this stuff. Now you're talking. Ever since he got so maudlin, Berg usually sits alone by the sea. Let me know what's wrong with him.
You see that? Not one, but two noble ladies in a tavern tonight. That's a rare sight around here.
Aye, I saw 'em. You don't see their kind much in places like this. Makes you wonder what brings 'em down here.
One's Lady Elaine, a scholar from Farshire. Thought about talking to her, but I'd probably just make an ass of myself.
Elaine, eh? Yeah, she's known for her smarts. Better keep your mouth shut around her, unless you want to feel about as sharp as a blunt axe.
And the other one, Lady Elisa. Not as smart as Elaine, but she's certainly posh. Got the airs of royalty without the smarts to back it up.
Ha! Elisa, yeah. She's got the looks, but don't expect her to be cracking any books. Doesn't need to. Not with that Duncan by her side. Though from what I've seen, they don't seem to like each other all that much.
Yeah, I've noticed. They sit together but act like strangers. Makes you wonder why they even bother.
Probably all for show. I reckon Duncan's got his own problems, but Elisa, she's too wrapped up in herself to notice.
Oi, Noel, what if I pulled Excalibur from that stone, but it broke, but only at the tip? Would I still get to be king, or not?
You're so daft, Randall. Some magical lass living in a lake gave the king the sword when he broke his own bashing four-armed skulls.
So, the one in the stone, what's that called? It's not Excalibur, is it?
Nah, the one in the stone was called, don't know. Sword in the stone, I guess.
sod it. Whatever. So, if I poured the sword in the stone from the, stone, and it broke, but only a little, would I still get to be king?
What? No. You'd have to pull out all of it. Only the one who pulls out the sword gets to be king, yeah? Not the one who pulls out a bit of the sword.
Wait, but if you have a sword and it breaks, do you tell everyone that you have a sword or that you have a piece of the sword? Besides, you can always take it to the smith and he can fix a new tip.
But if he fixes a new tip, it won't be the same sword.
Are you off your knocker? How's it not the same sword? So, what is it now? A plowshare?
A shit share.
Listen, just listen to me. You've got it all wrong. You've got a sword, right? And then the tip breaks off, so you attach a new one, right? But then, let's just say it breaks again.
That's one shitty sword you have there.
Now, listen to me. Now, damn it. It breaks off, so you fix it with a new piece again. And then it happens again, and again, and again. Until you finally get yourself a whole new blade from the smith. So get this, if the whole blade was replaced, is it still the same sword?
Well, no, it isn't.
There you have it. You just need to be, what's the word? Rational.
Fine. Now let's have a drink. My throat's drier than a priestess purse.
See, now you sound rational.
Hello, child. You look competent enough. I can see that you're not of noble blood. Oh, no need to tell me that. I've tutored the children of aristocrats from all over Avalon. Fortunately for you, my opinion of them is not particularly high. Oh, and you don't look like one of the locals. Are you a visitor? Or an adventurer? You can talk. Now, I'm sure we'll get along. My name is Lady Elaine. I oversee the Farshire Library, the greatest collection of books in this part of Avalon. By the All-Mother, don't tell me you don't know what Farshire is. The largest duchy in the middle of the island, with the wise Lady Kincaid in power, who has a hold over the entire territory. Nothing? Oh, really? I know, child. I know. Everyone was surprised. Camelot turned up their noses at this for years. But after Lord Kincaid died and Aidan, Lady Kincaid's son, disappeared, the nobles of Farshire decided she could stay on the throne. Even if Aidan had been alive, she would still be ruling as a regent until he came of age. But between you and me, he wasn't a very bright boy. So she would have been ruling until her death anyway. Oh, we're lucky to have her. Difficult times require determined leaders. Worse than ever. Oh, the wordness is thickening, and the roads are getting dangerous and unpredictable. That's why I'm here, wandering Avalon looking for solutions. If I don't do this, who will, You're probably wondering what a feeble old lady who can't even lift a sword could possibly accomplish. But King Arthur didn't conquer Avalon just because he couldn't swing a blade. No, he had knowledge, and enough wisdom to know how to use it. Lady Kincaid wasn't happy when she found out about this idea. But all Mother's mercy, I am her tutor. She cannot dictate what I do, no matter her standing. Oh, do you mean a family? Oh, I've never had time for such trifles. No suitor was ever more interesting than a good book, nor did any of them smell better either. And I've raised enough of other people's children to never wish for my own.
Excuse me, could you get me a clean glass? And I mean clean, not just wiped 3 times with a dirty rag. My name is Alyssa Murray, and I'm here with my husband, a very important cloth merchant. But surely you must have heard about our family. Not to brag, but we are rather prominent. I am famed amongst Camelot's courtiers for throwing the most magnificent feasts. Thank you. I designed it myself. I wanted to blend in with the people of the South. The savage tribes, the brave lightkeepers. I wanted to make an homage to them with my new style. And I do believe I've succeeded. I can feel everyone here gazing at me with awe. Give it a few weeks and everyone here will be trying to copy me. It happens in Camelot all the time. It's almost insufferable. Well, my Duncan is here on business, of course. A very important contract with the Lightkeepers. I decided to accompany him because I have never been to the South, and I've heard so much about its wild, untamed beauty. So far, it's turned out to be terribly dull. And the smell! It's like stale fish and sweat. Hopefully I don't have to suffer it much longer. Pray, tell me, do you know anyone here who would run a small errand for me? You see, I've had my eye on this beautiful abandoned estate overlooking the sea. It's not very far from here, but it's far enough away from all this rabble. If we stay here for a while, I need a place for myself. You understand that, right? The problem is that the manor appears to have some occupants, not legal ones, mind you, who need to be evicted. Forcibly, if there's no other way. You'll do it for me, won't you, dear? Splendid! I can't wait to start decorating. Maybe something nautical, to go with the sound of the waves crashing on the cliffs? Or do you think that's a trifle trite?
That blade won't fix anything.
Oh, there you are. Look, darling, it's the lovely mercenary I hired to clear out that seaside estate I told you about.
You did what?
Well, you told me to deal with it, so I did. You didn't expect me to just sit on my hands while surrounded by unwashed fishermen, did you?
Look, I'm sorry about my wife. Whatever she told you to do, forget about it. I'll pay you for your trouble. Trust me, I can imagine. Unfortunately, she often gets lost in her enthusiasm. We weren't, at least I wasn't planning on staying here any longer than necessary. We have no need for an estate.
Well, that's your opinion. One I simply do not share. You have? Oh, that's wonderful. I can start planning the welcoming banquet. I'm thinking sea foam made of spun silver, dancers dressed as alluring sea creatures.
And who are you going to invite, The crabs? None of your friends from Camelot are going to come all this way just to have dinner, are they?
Dear gods, Duncan. You're so plebeian. Of course they will come. Besides, there must be some important people here. Weren't you just talking with them? You can invite them too.
Good luck with that. Are you sure the place is safe now?
Oh my, how polite. I wouldn't have expected that from such a vagabond. But no matter, for I now have the delightful task of decorating an entire house.
Marvelous.
Truly it is. Now, we must get in touch with that splendid woodworker from Camelot. You know the one. He made those exquisite cabinets for the Gévaudan. Oh, and don't forget to pay the nice mercenary. At least someone in this godforsaken place turned out to be useful.
Yes, dear.
Why don't you come visit us once we're all settled, And don't fret. There's no need to make yourself too presentable. I highly doubt we'll be entertaining any important guests just yet. There you are, finally! I've been searching everywhere for you. This is a matter of utmost importance. You simply must help me. My Duncan has gone missing, and if we don't find him soon, he might be in grave danger. Please, you have to find him. I can't possibly be a widow at my age. Mourning clothes are dreadfully unflattering on me. Oh, let me think. Just 2 days ago, or perhaps 3, I've been terribly occupied with redecorating the mansion and designing an entire new wardrobe for our extended stay in the south. Duncan and I never felt the need to be constantly together. In fact, we both find such behavior utterly gauche. A marriage is merely a contract, after all. No need to romanticize it unnecessarily. yes, of course. Someone delivered a ransom letter to the mansion. Quite absurd, really. Duncan is the one who handles all the finances. I'm not even sure where he keeps the money. And I certainly don't plan to lower myself to meet the demands of some lowlives. That's why I need you to retrieve my husband. He's not dead. Don't be ridiculous. They need him for the money, don't they? Honestly, must I do all the thinking? Marvelous. Here's the letter. All the details should be inside. Now, chop chop, there is no time to waste.
I should have guessed she'd hire you. I was hoping she'd notify the keepers and then just forget about me after a week or two.
Just tell her I'm dead, hmm? Say, my body was eaten by bears or something. Please, if I go back, we'll just both end up miserable forever. Oh, thank you, thank you. You don't know how relieved I am. Trust me, Alyssa will be better off. Hmm? A young widow who lost her husband in the south will be the talk of the court. She'll find a new husband in no time. Well then, farewell. No offense, but I hope our paths never cross again.
Well, you're back, but I see that you're alone. Surely a few mere bandits didn't outwit you.
Damn it, I should have guessed she'd hire you. I was hoping she'd notify the keepers and then just forget about me after a week or two. I cut off my finger, just in case someone did come looking. I hoped they'd find it and bring it to Alyssa as proof that I was gone. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I guess I didn't think it all the way through. And I wasn't expecting it to hurt so much. Just tell her I'm dead, hmm? Say, my body was eaten by bears or something. Please, if I go back, we'll just both end up miserable forever. Oh, thank you, thank you. You don't know how relieved I am. Trust me, Alyssa will be better off. Hmm? A young widow who lost her husband in the south will be the talk of the court. She'll find a new husband in no time. Well then, farewell. No offense, but I hope our paths never cross again.
Well, you're back, but I see that you're alone. Surely a few mere bandits didn't outwit you. He's... What? But you promised to return with him. And the bandits, didn't they want money? And his body? Surely you didn't just leave him there. Oh, gods. That's dreadful. My poor Duncan. Do you think he assumed I wouldn't send anyone for him and attempted to escape on his own? He could be so foolish. Sometimes I felt as though he had absolutely no faith in me. What am I going to do now? Returning to Camelot will be utterly insufferable. Of course I am. I'm not entirely heartless, you know. I may not have loved Duncan, but I didn't dislike him either. Still, crying won't bring him back, and I do need to think about my future, which at the moment seems rather bleak. This is a nightmare! Ugh. I should begin packing, and something must be done about this house. Goodness, I don't even know where to begin. Would you like it? I could part with it for 500 gold coins. Does that sound reasonable for a house? Oh, really? Well, fine. That seems fair. You can have it. I simply can't bear this any longer. Now, I'd love to say it was a pleasure meeting you, but given the circumstances, I sincerely hope to never see you or this place again. Well, he's... and... he could... Of course, still... This is a... Would you like it? Stay? And engage in what, precisely? Have you not observed that I lack what one might call... practical skills? Aside from my impeccable taste in fashion, that is. I suppose I could open a dressmaking parlor, but where would I even get the materials? Not to mention clientele. I suppose you're right. And when I manage to sell my first masterpiece, the patrons will undoubtedly seek me out. Oh, aren't you astute? I must confess, your perceptiveness surprises me. Really? That would be absolutely marvelous. Well then, I guess I'll think about your offer. Now, would you be so kind as to excuse me? I must begin organizing Duncan's belongings. Indeed. Thank you ever so much. What does one even do as a young widow in the South? Besides be pitied? I must think. I envisioned many futures for myself, but this was never one of them. Give me time. Allow me a bit of time before we speak again. You must forgive me, but I need some... What does one even do as a young widow in the South? Besides be pitied? Yes? What about him? Well, to be perfectly honest, I believe I do. I never anticipated that I would, but his absence does indeed bother me sometimes. You know, I always thought we lived rather separate lives, yet now I sense a certain emptiness around me at times. I find it quite unnerving, I must say. Indeed, that might be true. In Camelot, I was perpetually surrounded by company, be it Duncan, family, friends, oh, and the servants, I suppose. Ah, perhaps you're right. Nonetheless, there is no use in dwelling on such thoughts at the moment. Gods, no. At least, I don't believe so. He was a respectable husband, certainly, but, well, love and marriage are two distinctly separate matters, and only one holds value for a woman in my position. Indeed, but let us not forget, I still bear the esteemed Moray name. My social standing hasn't ceased to exist just because I moved to the south. And what of it, anyway? I'm recently widowed. It would be quite unseemly to commence a search for a new husband so soon. Let me see. Not entirely dreadful. The fabric is almost decent, although the cut is terribly outdated. Whoever wore this must have been near destitute, or just stole it off someone else's corpse, I suppose. Regardless, it presents a fascinating challenge. Thank you for this. Here, a token for your troubles. Oh, you. That's terribly kind of you, truly. But I simply cannot accept it. You are, after all, most likely risking your life to get these for me. Or, well, if not your life, then at least your health and personal hygiene, I suppose. So, regardless of your feelings on the matter, I insist on compensating you adequately. But still, thank you. Goodbye. Have a pleasant journey. I'm so glad you decided to visit today. I've just learned some terribly distressing news, and I need to share them with someone. You see, I was going through the correspondence Duncan left behind, and imagine my shock when I discovered letters between him and my parents. It turns out my family was completely bankrupt when we married. Can you believe that? Though, I must admit, it has shed some light on a few aspects of my upbringing. Well, for one, have you ever encountered a noblewoman tasked with sewing her own garments? At the tender age of 12, my mother subtly steered me towards tailoring, positing it as a fitting pursuit for a lady of my station. I spent my time redesigning her old dresses, thinking it was just for fun. But now, I realize they probably couldn't afford new ones for me. Why on earth should you be sorry? It's my parents who ought to feel remorse. And Duncan, for concealing the truth from me all these years. I spent my entire life believing my family was above such petty concerns as money, destined for something far more grand. And yet, there I was, sold to the highest bidder. But now I'm relieved you convinced me to stay in the South. It truly feels like a fresh start for me. Surprisingly, no. I thought I would miss the parties, the bustling social scene, my family, but I don't, not really. Camelot was always so stifling. I hardly had a moment to myself. I feared the quiet and isolation here might unnerve me, yet it's been quite the contrary. Moreover, I found our conversations, albeit brief, to be far more sincere than years of superficial chatter with my so-called friends. Oh, well, that's delightful to hear. I would be quite dismayed to think my company was boring you, or worse, that you possessed such lamentable taste as to think so. Oh, trust me, I find plenty of excitement here. The creative kind, of course. Since, well, truth be told, I hardly ever leave the house. It's starting to feel rather stifling, but I haven't yet mustered the courage to go outside and explore. Splendid! This piece is indeed intriguing. Although, I must confess, I was secretly hoping for something with a bit more flair. All my current designs feel tragically mundane, and I've nothing in the house I could use to adorn them. Well, given that we're in the South, it may sound somewhat trite, but I have developed quite a fondness for marine-inspired motifs. I could start with some seashells, perhaps. Not too many, perhaps 12 or so. I'm not certain yet. I'll need to give it more thought. the seashells. Thank you. You know, this might be the most humble gift I've ever received, but it could also be the most precious. Truthfully, I was somewhat skeptical of whether you were actually listening to my ramblings. And for that, I am deeply grateful. I've always had the impression that Duncan became rather weary of my endless babble. Though, upon reflection, I confess I found his conversations equally tiresome. I'm sorry to cut this visit short, but there is something I simply must attend to as soon as possible. But I'd really love it if you visited again soon. That sounds delightful. Just make sure it's somewhere picturesque, hmm? The South is supposed to be famous for its breathtaking landscapes. But so far, the only thing that's taken my breath away is the smell of fish. Oh, I know. When we came here with Duncan, I noticed a lovely little terrace overlooking the sea. We could go there, make it a proper outing. Maybe a picnic. That sounds charmingly provincial, doesn't it? Oh, I can't wait. Please, let me know when you're ready to set out.
What a nice day.
Absolutely. I've longed to leave these four walls. Oh, I'm terribly curious about where you have chosen to take me. Let's depart. I wish to waste no more time in waiting. this is quite an endearing spot, albeit rather windy, and the decor leaves much to be desired. I must confess that ghastly statue had entirely escaped my memory until now. Now, what shall we talk about? You know almost everything there is to know about me, and yet I hardly know anything about your life. Tell me, have you always been a mercenary? And you just agree? Oh, you poor dear. We must work on your confidence. Trust me, nobody says no quite like a Moray. Oh, that is fascinating. I've never met anyone with a talent for the arts. But tell me, isn't using magic forbidden? Have you been practicing and hiding all this time? Oh, I wasn't aware there were different kinds. I'm familiar with the priestesses and their healing arts, though I was led to believe these gifts were divine endowments from the goddess herself. It was perhaps a touch naive, yet rather an uplifting thought. Well, not overly, though I was raised with faith. Some of my peers, without any promising marriage prospects, were candidates for the temple as well. My mother used to threaten to send me there too. Can you fathom me, draped in robes? But I digress. We're here to delve into your enchanting narrative, not mine. Shall we then propose a toast? To you and your clandestine magic. May it forever shield you. Now, I must admit, I've been positively aching with anticipation to delve into the tales of your exhilarating escapades. Your life appears so fabulously thrilling. So, do tell me, what's the most exciting thing that has happened to you recently? Oh, you flatterer. That's rather obvious, isn't it? No. Tell me about some of your real adventures, if you don't mind. Have you encountered any other captivating individuals? Oh no! Don't tell me that ridiculous little legend the locals insist on sharing is actually true. I do adore a bit of folklore, but to actually believe it, unthinkable. Go on then, convince me. I simply must hear more. As a proper sea monster should be. Nobody weaves grand tales about a monster smaller than a ship, do they? That would hardly have the same thrilling allure. Don't be coy, darling. You should know by now that I rarely do anything for which I have no patience or desire. Besides, the evenings here are indeed rather slow, so the prospect of your delightful company to enliven them is most welcome. Now, I've had a lovely time, but it's getting late, and I'd rather not be caught by nightfall on my way home. I do hope we can do this again sometime. Oh, you've arrived. Marvelous. I must confess, I've been eagerly awaiting your next visit. Today, I have crafted something quite special just for you. Here, behold my very first creation, expressly designed just for you. Well, yes, but not this one, my dear. This one is extraordinary, and not exactly fitting for the court, since, as you very well know, it was sewn together from rags. Nevertheless, I'm confident it will look splendid on you. Besides, I designed it to be practical as well as striking, so it should serve you well on your travels. What? No, of course not. Yes, I've grown rather fond of you. And I am not averse to the idea of exploring a more intimate connection. What? Certainly not. Don't be preposterous. Blushing is a pastime for the timid and unseasoned girls, not for a woman of my stature and breeding. Me blushing? The very thought. No. Really? You seek flattery now? Firstly, I must say, you are quite pleasing to the eye. There's a raw, untamed quality about you that I find absolutely captivating. Beyond that, I find your company immensely enjoyable. You engage with my passions, and you've given me a sense of purpose, something I've dearly needed. It may not seem like much, but to me, it's more than enough. Then I'm relieved to hear that. Well, if you'll pardon my boldness, I would not be opposed to a kiss. And then, perhaps we could see where the evening leads us. Darling, I must say I've thoroughly enjoyed your company. I do hope you don't have to rush off just yet. Do you, dearest? How marvelous! In fact, I've been meaning to suggest something. I've thought about this for a while, and this mansion is rather grand for just one person. I don't know if you already have suitable lodgings, but, well, I'm offering you one now. Oh, think nothing of it. I'd simply love to have you around more, and together we could make this place far more livable, don't you think? The interior is charming enough, but the outside, utterly dreadful. Yes, the view is divine and the beach is pleasant, but we can't very well sit in the sand all day, can we? Oh, and imagine a garden. It would be so lovely to have fresh flowers in abundance. No need to worry, my dearest. I've already drawn up a list of all the improvements we could make. Oh, and it's going to be simply magnificent, I assure you. Ah, is there anything more romantic than a proper garden? Imagine the blossoms in spring, the scent of fresh herbs wafting through the air. I did consider hiring a gardener, but no. It's time for me to sink my fingers into the fresh soil and bring forth the fruits of my own labor, just as village women have done for centuries. It can't be too hard, can it? If the peasants can manage it. The pond is certainly a choice. Well, to be honest, I'm rather used to more ornamental pieces. But this is nice as well. Very quaint, very rustic, fitting. I only hope nothing lays eggs in there. Ugh. Darling, the workshop is simply magnificent. My sanctuary, a place where inspiration can flourish, unburdened by clutter and inconvenience. Oh, just imagine the gowns, the embroidery, the masterpieces that will emerge from these very walls. I hope you're prepared, dearest, because soon everyone will be clamoring for even the smallest samples of my craft. Darling, I must admit, the work you've done around the house is tremendous. Dare I say, you've finally made it feel like home. And while I may have exuded cheer and enthusiasm, deep down I wasn't particularly excited about living in the South at first, you know. I simply wanted something different. But now, I suppose, it's grown on me. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to have someone to share it with. Ah, my dear, you do have exquisite timing. Here, a little something to brighten your day.
back! Hi! I told you, Ron is a good guy. And here's a little something for you. You know I pay well. Yes? What's the matter, my friend? You're really good at this today. Wait. Oh. Oh, you're serious. I understand. For so many years, I've been afraid to open this letter. But it looks like I needed to read it. Well, it is what it is, right? And I've been wondering why no one wants to talk to me. I thought to myself, are they mad at me or what? But why are you talking to me? How can you see me? Anyway, may the All-Mother bless your path. See you next time. You're trying to be sneaky. You're failing miserably.
I like it when things are quiet.
Oh, surprising. I'm looking for someone who will help me find a certain artifact. So, are you interested, child? In one of my books, I found a reference to a certain object, a figure most likely, which had the ability to dispel the wordness like a minhair can. Apparently, it can be found on the ship called Andraste, which sank over 100 years ago somewhere in this area. The Last Voyage of the Andraste by Elvis the Lightkeeper. He was one of the more notable keepers. In his waning years, he became an adjutant to Captain Lex. But it's best if you read it yourself. You can read, can't you? But just be very careful. This is a very rare publication. Read it very carefully, and after you're done, come to me, and I'll tell you more. A deal? Oh, and they say young people don't want to learn anything. Come on, chop, 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 get to reading. And? Have you read The Last Voyage of the Andraste? Oh, splendid, splendid. Oh, it's an excellent book, don't you think? Now, let's test your reading comprehension. According to Elvis the Lightkeeper, in the mine near the Horns of the South, they found something that they took with them on the ship. Do you remember what that was, child? That's right. This is the artifact I'm looking for. One that might be vital to repelling the wordness. According to Elvis's description, the figure is smaller than a menhir, and light enough that they were able to carry it to the ship without any trouble. Were it small, it would probably have been placed in Captain Lex's quarters instead of in the hold. I've estimated it should be about 1 meter tall. Good. Next question. What was the Andraste's destination? And you're telling me you've read it? By the All-Mother, it's like dealing with a 10-year-old. You need to read this book a little more carefully, child. Come back when you've done more than just skimmed it. Have you read? Good. What? And come. Have you read? Good. What? Come. Have you? Good. What? Correct. Be very careful with what I'm about to tell you. But some believe that the Red Priests are dedicated to studying the Wordness instead of the Red Death. Captain Lex must have thought they'd pay him generously for a Four-Dweller artifact. Last question. What sank the Andraste? Yes, you did well, child. I can see that you were paying attention. According to Elvis, the Andraste was sunk by the legendary terror from the deep. But if you want to know more, ask your keeper friends. They should be much better informed. Now, all you need to do is find the wreck of the Andraste and retrieve the mysterious figure. Oh, if only I knew. It must have happened somewhere on the way between the Horns of the South and the Island Asylum. Oh, but where exactly? Fortunately, I know something that could help us. In the Horns of the South Museum, there are some extremely interesting books and documents lying around and collecting dust. Can you imagine having such treasures at hand and choosing to completely ignore them? Oh, barbarians. Among them, you'll find the Andraste's logbook, which was saved by Alvis. I've read it, of course, but I know nothing about sailing. I'm sure such a competent child as yourself will handle it much better. Go to the Horns of the South Museum, read the logbook, and then tell me whether you managed to locate the wreck of the Andraste.
Welcome to the Museum of the Horns of the South, the southernmost keep under Camelot's jurisdiction. My name is Ridderick, and I will be happy to introduce you to the rich history of this fascinating place. A history that began 623 years ago with the first keeper, Sewell Firstfoot. I'd also like to bring your attention to our numerous exhibits that are, as I like to say, inanimate witnesses of the history of the Horns of the South. It began in the year 542. It is the crowning achievement of a group of keepers who were fascinated with Sewell Firstfoot. It took them years of tremendous effort to finally open an institution devoted to research and education, worthy of commemorating Sewell's great legacy. The first keeper of the museum was Gladwin Flanagan, who was personally appointed by Captain Berach the Black. I don't doubt it, since Sewell Firstfoot was a remarkable figure, well known to every keeper. Drawing on available sources, we can claim with almost absolute certainty that Sewell Firstfoot was the first man who ever set foot on the island of Avalon. As you can probably guess, that's where his moniker, Firstfoot, comes from. Oh, of course! Sewell was an outstanding commander whose strategic mind, bravery, and charisma contributed to our capture of the South from the Four Dwellers. He was also the founder of the Horns of the South, so I can say with absolute conviction that if it were not for Sewell Firstfoot, we wouldn't even be standing here having this conversation. The museum holds a collection of 72 items of the so-called movable, tangible heritage. The collection includes big and small items that represent the world surrounding the keepers of the Horns of the South from the 1st to the 6th century of the Avalonian era. Here you will find militaria, craft tools, everyday objects, furniture, textiles, coins, religious artifacts. I'd say all exhibits are worthy of your attention, but I could point you to the ones I personally think to be the most notable, or subjectively, of course, the most interesting. Those would be the items that used to belong to Sewell Firstfoot. We have his signal horn, and also his boots. Those boots were the first to touch Avalonian soil. What is also worth mentioning is the tableware used by King Arthur himself during his visit to the Horns of the South in the 15th year of the Avalonian era. It's a memento of the visit of the legendary ruler of Avalon. Impressive, isn't it? The tableware is made of tin coated with silver. It consists of a plate, a bowl, and a chalice. The edges are decorated with the motifs of Camelot, a crown and a bear. However, those ornaments are of visibly low quality. That detail, and the fact that those are the only wares from that time that have survived to this day, leads us to conclude that this set was cast specifically for that occasion, and that it was finished by a person unfamiliar with this kind of craft, perhaps a blacksmith or an armorer. Yes, it's remarkable, isn't it? You can find them in the central display. Sewell's boots were sewn from 3 pieces of tanned calfskin, tied at the top with a leather strap. The seam goes through the middle of the instep, which is decorated with ornamental embroidery. On the outer side of each shoe, you can find a decorative brass buckle with the motif of the Camelotian bear. It is notable that even after 600 years, they are still excellently preserved, which is unusual considering the high humidity in this area. It means that even the keepers of that time must have realized the historical value of Sewell's boots, and therefore made sure to adequately preserve them. It is indeed an interesting exhibit. The horn was used by Sewell during wartime, not only for signaling, but also for intimidation. It is 50 centimeters long and made of the horn of an ox. It is the color of yellowed bone, with some ash-gray discoloration on the narrow end. It has a brass mouthpiece and silver fittings on its wider side and at the middle. The shape of the fittings suggests that the horn was hanging on a leather strap, which unfortunately has not survived to this day. Really? Do you mean it? Thank you. That's really nice to hear. I'm not used to positive feedback. Usually people only come here when they've had too much to drink and decided that it'd be fun to come over and start mocking me, or touching the exhibits with their greasy fingers. The last person who seemed to actually be interested in the museum was Lady Elaine. We talked a bit about Captain Lex and the trip that ended tragically in the year 513. It was described in The Last Voyage of the Andraste. An interesting read, although I'd say it should be classified as fiction. Lady Elaine thought differently. Apparently she's looking for the wreck of the Andraste. Can you believe that? Oh, that's excellent. I have a lot of respect for that kind of archaeological endeavor, even when it's based on incorrect assumptions with regard to the subject of the research. But if you happen upon any interesting objects during your search, please don't forget about the museum. I have to admit that local fauna is not one of my main areas of interest, but I do know the answer to this question, as it is rooted in the history of the Horns of the South. It used to be the case that a significant part of the daily catch was gobbled up by our troublesome coastal neighbors. So the keepers of that time found a very peculiar way to deal with the problem. Some of them, called the seagullers, scared off the coastal birds using specially constructed masks. They made them from feathers and pieces of tanned pigskin sewn together. The reason the gulls avoided these masks is unclear, but perhaps their peculiar shape reminded them of a natural predator? Do you mean the document with information about the course, weather, position, and speed of the ship, as well as all of the stops and other occurrences kept by the captain or the first mate? More specifically, the document from the bridge of the Andraste, which sank tragically in nearby waters in the year 513. Indeed, we have it. Please wait here. Here it is, though I doubt those records will tell you anything, since the weirdness surrounding Avalon made sailing impossible. The knowledge of the precepts of navigation has been forgotten. Oh, no, we know that. You should have mentioned that you're looking for the wreck of the Andraste rather than the logbook. Every keeper knows that the Andraste was swallowed by the ocean. It's near what's currently known as Smuggler's Bay. Here, I'll mark it on your map.
do you think you're going? It's closed. Find a different one. Not my problem. Now scram before I lose my patience. Oh, really? Lying to Dalrita? You've got guts, but no honor. Lucky for you, I'm always willing to give people a chance to earn it back. It's been a while since someone bested me. Still, win is a win. You can pass through. Just don't do anything stupid. Fran's berserkers have even less patience than I do. So, did you get what you needed from Vran, or are you sticking around? Huh. Weird place, this. Back in the Forlorn Swords, we didn't have many strangers wandering about. Maybe a pict or two every so often, but they're a different kind of strange. Guess I'll have to get used to it. Aye, I do. It's home. Plus, it's too bloody warm here. The bugs are driving me mad. What's there to like? They only come to take. Our steel, our warriors. They never bring anything good in return. Felt like everything was falling apart back home. After Gunvalder was wiped out, nothing was the same. It felt like we were all just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Made me feel useless. And I hate feeling useless. Do I look like someone with a plan? I don't have one. Where they go, I follow. As long as I'm useful. See you around, I guess.
Idle hands make dull warriors.
You better step it up.
action. You'll regret crossing me.